Hi, this is Raphael Heath, the Head of Geography at the Royal High School, Bath, and this is a series of tutorials explaining how to use ArcGIS Online and particularly focus on developing an investigation into crime suitable for use in a personal investigation, particularly at sixth form level, and it's supported by the Royal Geographical Society's Innovative Teaching Grant. This one's going to be looking at collecting data in the field using the Esri Collector app, which a number of people are interested in knowing how it works. Let's switch to this. So the Esri Collector app, if I switch to this tab, looks like this. It's available on the Apple Store and for Android as well, and it's a free app to install, but you do need to have an ArcGIS Online subscription account. The process of doing this, first of all, is start off with a spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet here. So you can see I've put in various things I want to collect data on, primary data on when I go out to the field. I'm going to do a crime vulnerability study when I rate from 0 to 10, 1 to 10, things like dereliction, with 10 being very high dereliction and 1 being very little dereliction area, CCTV scores, overlooking window scores, and so on. I'm giving the scores to things I want to rate when I'm out in the field so that I can see if an area is more vulnerable to crime than another. I've also put in this one called noise in dB, so I might take a decibel meter out or use my phone to do that, monitor it and give me a reading, and so perhaps there's a link to noise and crime and so on of certain types. A description, I can just put in general text about an area, description and longitude, latitude. I need to put these in order to locate the ArcGIS Online GIS software to actually locate a place, but I don't actually have to put any places in, but don't forget to put longitude and latitude columns in, but you don't have to worry about putting any numbers into it as such. I put zeros into all the columns for the moment just to help when I import the data it know that this is going to be numbers, and when I've left it blank it knows it's text, and longitude, latitude it will know what they are. So once I've produced this data I need to save it, so I'll go to File and Save, put it in one of my folders, and notice that you need to save it as this format, CSV format. You get a whole load of choices here about how you can save files, and you must pick this one, CSV, Comment and Limited, in order to bring it into your GIS package. I've given it a name, and I say save. Yeah, I've already done this, so I'll replace it. It gives me a little message saying it's a different format to an Excel workbook, but that's fine, I know that. So that's the creation of the sort of spreadsheet in order to import the data into ArcGIS Online. Next thing is to go to ArcGIS Online. So I'm back into my web browser now on a computer. I go to www.arcgis.com. I sign in to my account. As I said, you will need an account to do all the things I'm showing you on this tutorial, and then you go to My Content. So at the top of the page here you've got various tabs. You go to My Content, you've got all the files that you've got here, and you need to add an item. So I'm going to add an item from my computer, and I'm going to browse to the file where this was saved, and open it. So it looks at the data and tries to recognize it. I just have to give it a tag for searching for it later, so it doesn't matter too much what you put in that, but you need to put something in. And then you'll notice under this section here, it's already recognised it's got longitude, latitude, because it's seen that I've typed them in. It's got dereliction score, and it's given it the field type of an integer. If you look at the choices here, you can see it could have been a date, if I was putting in date data. It can be a string, which is a strange word, but it basically means if I'm putting in text, and double as well is for integer is going to be a whole number, so 1, 2, 3 and 10 and so on. If I wanted to put in, so I put the decibels in, noise in decibels, it's recognised as an integer, it's going to give it a whole number, and it won't let me put 3.1 decibels in, for example, or 42.2. So if I change this one to double at this stage, it will let me do that. I'll show you the effect of that later. The one I've left blank, a description, it says string, which is text, that's fine, I can type in what I like there. Longitude, latitude, it's given double to automatically and recognised it as, if you look here, the location fields, and it recognises these two automatically for me if I've typed them in correctly. If it hasn't recognised them, you can go to this menu and tell it that this is the longitude, latitude data that you want it to use. But if you've done it as I've shown, you won't have to do that. So you click Add Item here. So what it's going to do now is going to actually create a new layer which is saving into your ArcGIS Online account that you just logged into here. You can see it whirring away here, creating what's called a feature service, hence the word creating service here. And once it's created it, I can then use it for different functionality. To put in data. A few things I need to set once it's actually been created, so it's just doing a little bit of work here, and now it's created it. Now it's got no data in at all, but it has accepted it in the format I've just given it. A few things you can do here. First of all, you can share the data with everyone. You don't need to do that, but it can make it easier just when you're sharing layers and maps later if you want to get to it without logging in. Under the edit here, you can see there are things you can change to do with the information about the tit and the titles and so on, but I'm particularly interested in what's at the bottom of this section here. You've got delete protection, you can click that if you wish, but editing, this is really important. You want to edit this, you want to put in data, so I click editing. Export data, you might want to export it later, so I click that one. And now sync is really important. It says disconnected editing with synchronization to be enabled, so if you allow that, that will let you put data in when you're not online, so that's quite a useful functionality to tick here now. And then I'm going to save those settings that I've now put in for that layer. So there's some hidden stuff there that's quite useful in the edit section. I've done the share and the edit. Under this little box here, a little layers drop down menu with the arrow here, you can see it's got enable attachments. That will let me do things like upload a photo as I'm going around in the field as well. So I'll do that, there's no harm in doing that, unless I want to stop people sort of uploading stuff to this particular feature service. So if I click on the open, I can say add layer to a map, and it's going to open a brand new map for me here and put my layer in, which won't look very impressive. Let's open a map I've already got open here, that's absolutely fine. When it first opened, it picked a feature like dereliction and tried to give it symbols. There's no data in it, so it's completely blank anyway. I'm going to just change it to show location only. Under the options, I'm just going to give it a new look for the symbol, just so it's really clear when I'm doing this later what I'm looking at. So if I pick an arrow, star there, sorry, make it a little bit bigger so it really stands out, and OK. So I've just changed the symbol for this new layer I've created to be a star. OK, so you'll notice here that a map has opened. Actually, I was doing some work on this before, so it should have looked like it should have looked like that when I opened it without anything else, but because I've actually played around and put some other things in before I started filming this, it had a few things saved. So this is the layer I just created, Crime Survey in July. It's completely blank at the moment, but there are things I can do with it. If you notice at the top here, it's got an edit button. If I click on edit, then you'll see I've got the choice of actually adding the star that I've created for it. I can put that star anywhere on the map, and I can type scores into it. So I'll just put some example nonsense data in, and this would be if I was at the field and doing this in a computer, or if I've come back after doing some data and recording it on paper and putting this in. I will just show you what happens if I put 3.8 here. It says value must be an integer, so it won't accept that. So by having set an integer, it sort of forces that. In the decibels, if I put 6.9, then that's fine, it's stored that. So that's why you might want to set things to be in decimal points, put in double for that. Description, I can write in, and so on. Longitude, latitude I can leave completely blank, and as I go down here I could add an attachment. If I browsed for a file, I could find a file, make a picture that I've taken of the site and add it, so that could all be saved in the map. You'll notice there's no save button here, it just saves as I put stuff in, so there you go, it's all done. If I go back to the details here and then click on it, you'll see that this data is now saved in here under that dot. If I want to do another dot, I can click edit and keep putting dots in. So that's the principle of doing it on your computer, but the interesting thing is how you can do it on an app. You can put other data in, which is what I was just showing here. So let's say here, which one is it? Density map. So we did a density map earlier. I could use the add, search for layers, put in other layers that I wanted on this map. So maybe I'm going to the areas with high crime density, so I want to know where they are. So I can put this on my map. Okay. I'm just going to remove that one. Okay, so I've got two layers in there. I've got my crime survey and map. You'll notice the star's a bit faint because it's underneath the other layer. I'm just going to drag and move that layer up, and the star's a little bit more prominent. So there's my field data, and there's some other secondary data I've got here. I need to save the map, so I'm going to do Save As. And it's called Crime Survey for Collector App Copy, because I was working on this before, but otherwise you'd have to type the data in from scratch. I'll leave it at that. Tags, bit of a summary, and where you're going to save it. So you type in that data, save the map, and just doing a little bit of thinking for that. And once it's done that, you see what you've done is you bring in a layer which you need to save, but you actually need to save a map before you can go into actually sort of editing the GIS on the app offline or online. Okay. Being a little bit slow on saving here, not sure why. Just get rid of that. Has it saved it? No, let's try again. Save as. Save map. Okay. So I don't know why it was slow first time, but there we go, it's done it now. Copy one. The other thing you can do is share the maps. At the moment the map is private to you, which should be fine when you're using it logging in, but again, if you want to make the map easier to share and for other people to access, you can click with everyone, unless there's some reason not to do that. So you notice I've shared it with everyone here now. Okay, so those are the settings on the map itself, and everything's saved and up to date. Okay, now I'm going to go to my tablet here, iPad in this case, but it could be Android devices and so on. And this is the Collector app I was showing you before, and I've already got it downloaded, so I'm just going to find it. Here it is, the Collector. And it will first ask you to sign in. I've already signed in, so hopefully it will remember me. And once it's loaded up, it will find my maps that I've been working on. So here's the list of maps I've got, ones I've been playing with before, and this is the particular one I made now, Crime Survey for Collector App Copy 1. So that's the one we've just been working on and just made. I literally just opened the app as you saw there, and it already knows it's saved for me. So if I click it to open, it's now going to open it within this specific function of the Collector app, and you can see it's got all the things saved as I set them on the map, including the one bit of data that I've put in. So you'll notice here it's got my background layer and the crime data layer, and I can switch layers on and off. So I'm just going to take off the density map. What I might be doing is saying, okay, right, I'm going to visit this area. I use the crime layer to help me identify that's the area I wanted to go to here, and then let's get rid of them. I'm going to switch it off so you can turn the layers on and off there. Okay, so let's say I want to add a point, so I go to the plus symbol here and it says new feature, so I click on a new feature. It tries to take me to my current location, which is at school, but as I said, I might want to go to another particular place that I'm doing field work on, so you can just move this map around. Then I click a location, so it's chosen that dot. If I've done it wrong, I can just keep clicking till I'm in the right place, and then I put in the data. So dereliction score of 6, done. CCTV score in this area was 3, done, and so on. My decibel noise was 6.9, done, and so on. So I'm putting in the data. I can put in my description. This is a lovely area, whatever I'm saying. Done. And you'll notice you can also put in the photo, because you put in the enable attachments, so that's when it will let you put in a photo. You can click add, either take the photo from your photo library or from live from the camera if you're standing out in the field, and that will add it, or add several photos. Once you finish that, you press the submit button here. Here we go, and it's done. Get rid of this. Okay, so you'll notice there's now 2 dots on the map, and I can keep going around and adding layers. So that's the principle of how to use this app and how to add data to it. If I go to my computer screen and refresh that page from where it was before with a single data put in, it should live and immediately know that they are 2 dots now there. So all this is happening using the web and the Wi-Fi that I'm using at the moment, and it's going in live, so every map that has this data will be updated automatically. So you don't need to do anything on that, and you can get to it on multiple devices or computers. If I go back to maps here, right, so I've shown you how you can put data into this app directly, but of course everything I've shown you so far has been working on Wi-Fi, and you'll see that this map, in the way it's set up, if I look through here, you'll notice some maps have slightly different symbols on. Most of them have got eyes next to them, but a few of them have got these cloud symbols next to, but not this particular one that I've set up so far to show you the Crime Survey for Collector app copy. And the reason for that is it's not set up yet to be used for offline, so I'll just show you the extra step that's involved in that. Going back to my map, I've shown you before about sort of saving and putting in the layers and then saving the map itself. So you've got to think of it as sort of 2 stages, in the sense of you make the layer and save the layer. The layers are all these individual ones and the map is the whole thing, and you've got to save that. So we've actually got to control this map, which is what the app is looking at, in order to make it work offline. You also need to make sure each layer, as I showed you before, is enabled for offline editing. Now we already did that for the crime data, and I did it previously for this density map in exactly the same way that I showed earlier in the tutorial. So if we go to the About button here, I've actually got details about the whole map rather than about the individual layers, which are shown in the contents. So the About is about the whole map. If I go to the More Details bit here, it gives me the information that relates specifically to this map and how it's been set up. Okay, so here you can see it's got information about the map and its layers and so on, and the ability to share it, which I've already done. But if you go under Edit here, I can put in information about the map, description about it, telling myself or the audience who's looking at it what it's all about, what it does. But here you'll see it's got the Save Offline mode. So if I click that one now, and it will only work if all your layers are set to enable offline editing, so just be aware of that. If there are layers you don't need on there, perhaps take them out of this map and bring them in later once you've done your editing work, and then I'm going to save it. So this will hopefully change the map layer that I've just shown you before from just having an eye to actually having a cloud symbol working for it. Let's go back to the map here. So we'll see how long it takes to actually enable that and activate it, but the idea is this will allow offline editing mode. So going back again to the app that I've got, the Collector app, find it and open it. See if a refresh helps. Okay, yes, that was quick. Okay, so you can see right up there, Crime Survey for Collector app copy that we've been working on has now got a cloud symbol next to it. So I'm going to click the cloud symbol. It didn't have that before. It says choose a base map that you might want to use for it. I've already downloaded some, so it's I'll just do this again. If you already saved stuff on your device, then it will already remember it. It says what area do you want to, the work area that you want to save, because this is now going to work without any Wi-Fi, so it has to actually save it to your device. You have to have some memory on your device to do this. Spare capacity. So I can pick the area that I want to save. Obviously the bigger the area I use, the more memory it's going to take. So I want to try and be as kind of targeted as possible. So for this exercise I'll just pick a small area that I want to actually save offline. And then under map detail, there's work area I was just doing, and then it says estimated size is going to take 5 megabytes to do that. If I go like this, it's will slowly increase how many megabytes it's going to take to save, 11 megabytes and so on. So I'll take in this area, as I said, and then map detail. So this is saying how close in do you want to go, because the closer in you go, the more street level detail you get, but the size of the number of maps it needs to remember is going to be greater. So again, just be aware of that, but you need it so it's usable offline. So let's say I'm happy with that and I want it to zoom in as far as this when I'm offline, and then I say download. And so It's now sort of going to work through a download. You can see it, little blue bars moving across there as it's actually doing the work and the saving in the background here. And once it's actually done that, it means that I could switch my Wi-Fi off, use it in a completely offline mode, and then have the ability to sync when I'm back in a Wi-Fi situation. And that's great for when you're working in the field and you're out in the hills, you're out or you haven't got 3G usage or Wi-Fi usage, and you want to put data in directly into your device and say if you're putting it in later, you're working in the field, using device to do that, and then you just come back, you press the sync button once, and it's all uploaded online. So that's the principle behind it. So you can see here it's now says it's downloaded. It now has this button which is a sync button on there, and as I said, if I was if I go to on device here, it now says that this map is on my device, and I can click it even if I wasn't working in a Wi-Fi situation. You'll notice none of the rest of the map is loaded, just this area that I've actually saved. But I've got otherwise all the full functionality of this map, be able to turn it on and off, to be able to put in the data, as I've shown you before, adding new features and so on. I'm working completely offline on this, and then when I've finished, I go back to my maps, and I simply press that sync button. I might have 3 or 4 more dots on there. Press the sync button, I'm back in a Wi-Fi zone now, and that will upload and update to your maps there. Obviously this is taking some memory on your computer, so just be aware of that on your tablet, but that's the principle of working with the Collector app and working online. You saw how easy it was to just set that up here. As long as you press the right buttons in the settings and get it all in the right position, you'll then be able to put it onto your tablet and use the Collector app to use it online or offline for these certain functionalities. So that's quite a useful technique. And that was part 10 of the Innovative Teaching Grant Supported Initiative by the Royal Geographical Society, presented by Raphael Heath, the Head of Geography at the Royal High School Bath, showing you how to use the Esri Collector app both online and offline in the field, and how you can set it up from your spreadsheet and then get it to work on your app.